I'm here with the wonderful Simon J Williamson. Simon, thank you so much for being here on this incredible Star Wars Day that GeekVault are hosting. Can you please tell people who may not know some of the characters that you have been in Star Wars?
Okay, well, my main claim to fame is I played the blue elephantine keyboardist called Max Rebo in Return of the Jedi. And he's my main claim to fame in Star Wars. Basically, I was hired as a puppeteer, and with no indication of which particular puppets we would be doing. But as the film went on, I also migrated into performing some of what the mime artists were doing. So Max Rebo is not really a puppet because I'm inside him. And also got to play a few Gamorrean guards, including one who gets eaten by the Rancor. So I ended up doing a lot more. Actually, Hugh and I, Hugh Spight, who's also here, we saw what was happening with the Gamorrean guards, who extras were playing. And because it's a very heavy costume, and Hugh and I had worked on a film beforehand called The Dark Crystal, which is very similar, so we were used to working under heavy costumes, and we weren't going to faint, unlike the extras. We said to one of the producers, can we just show you what we think we can do with the Gamorrean guards? So we got on the costume and we just did a little improvisation, and then we played the Gamorrean guards from that point onwards. So yeah.
Did you ever think that you'd end up still doing sort of events like this and talking about these films and the Star Wars universe all these years later?
Well, I mean, you say still do them. I mean, I didn't know this autograph circuit existed for at least 10 years afterwards. It's a nice thing, and you see the joy on people's faces when they're reminded of something in their childhood and they want an autograph or they want to talk. It's very rewarding. And also you get to travel.
Yes, of course.
So I get to travel to Billericay. I went past Billericay on the train, never been to Billericay, and all I can think of was Ian Dury's voice saying, I'm from Essex, in case you couldn't tell. My given name is Dickie. I come from Billericay, and I'm doing very well. I won't go the rest of the song, but yeah. So exotic places like Southend, Billericay.
And we're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much, Simon, and all of your amazing puppetry talents.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And nice to be here in this shop.
It's amazing, isn't it? And in fact, we can find Max Rebo on the shelves. I've spotted him already. So
wow.
You can take home your own very Simon J Williamson if you so wish. I'm with the marvellous Hugh Spight. And Hugh, I'd like you to tell everyone who you are in the Star Wars universe, in case they don't know.
Oh, well, basically, first of all, I'm a Gamorrean guard. I played one of the prune faces. After we'd filmed this, when we were invited to the West End to see the first showing, we were all waiting to see our names go up. And instead of Hugh Spight, which is my name, they put Hugh Spirit. I went, oh, Anyway, and 4 years later, I left the country. I went to do a lead in a musical in Hamburg in Germany. I ended up staying 15 years because I'm bilingual German, and I ended up working for all the recording studios doing voice work. And I came back to this country, and I've been back about 4 years, and I knew anything about this.
Really?
And somebody found out what my real name was, asked Simon, who's this Hugh Spirit? Nobody can find this Hugh Spirit. And they said, no, that's not his name. His name's Hugh Spight. And that guy traced me through the electoral roll and wrote to me and said, are you aware that people all over the world are looking for you? I said, what are you talking about? And then I met him, and he introduced me to this world. And it's just amazing, and it's fun, and you get to travel and meet a lot of people.
You're a figurine.
Yes.
You know, how mad is that? And were you not aware of how big your characters were?
Absolutely no awareness at all until that person came to me.
One of the earlier films, was it Chitty Chitty Bang Bang that you were on?
That was the first film I ever did, yes.
One of my favourites.
Yes.
How was that?
Well, that was a bit of another story. Somebody I knew was an extra in the film, and he lived upstairs from where I was, and he came down and says, Hugh, can you help me out tomorrow? I've got two films to do, and I want to do one, but I'm booked to do Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He said, will you go and pretend to be me? I said, okay. So off I went, and I went out the bus out to the country, to film all this. And we did some work in the morning, and then we're having lunch. And the assistant director came to me, tapped me on the shoulder, said, "The director wants to talk to you." I thought, oh, they found out I'm not this guy. I'm in trouble. I'm in serious trouble. And he said, "Oh, with the opening shot, we want you in it, and we'll pay you for being featured. And we're doing a helicopter shot coming in, and I want you to do this, and the other." So. Yeah, I got a little feature. That was my first film.
That's amazing. And was it sort of the expertise that you've had within dance and things that you think led you to do a lot of puppetry work and a lot of...
Well, yes, because the Henson put an advertisement in the stage. Dancers, gymnasts, acrobats, circus performers wanted for a forthcoming feature film from the Henson organisation. So I thought, I'll go for that. Believe it or not, I used to be a ballet dancer. And a ballet dancer's career is very short. And I got the audition. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time. And Jim Henson was the most remarkable man. Absolutely remarkable. In 2 years working with him, never saw him lose his cool. And if you had a suggestion about something and he liked it, he'd do it. He was always open for that.
And from there, it sort of led you straight into Star Wars?
Well, as I say, we were in the same... They were shooting in Elstree Studios. Yeah. And would you like to come on? It was just... serendipity, yeah, so absolutely.
Thank you so much, Hugh.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being part of Star Wars Day. Of course, you can come to GeekVault and you'll probably find one of Hugh's characters in one of the amazing figures that are here as well. So thank you again, Hugh.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here with the marvellous Nathan Plant. Nathan, could you please tell everyone who you are in the Star Wars universe in case they don't know?
Yes, so I was a Hask thug in The Force Awakens. And then I played an RA-7 droid in Rogue One. And then I was a mining droid in Han Solo: A Star Wars Story. And also a waiter droid in The Last Jedi. So sort of a droid. Mainly a droid.
How was the difference between the thug costume and the droid costume for you?
I remember wearing the thug costume and thinking, this is hot and a bit uncomfortable. And then I put a droid costume on and I thought, I wish I was wearing the thug costume. Yeah, they're very different because obviously the thug costume is essentially a skin suit with, real hair, which was very itchy and hot. But the droid costume essentially is plastic. There's no cushion between you and the costume. So, yeah, that was an adjustment.
And since then, did you think that you'd end up doing sort of events like this?
No, and then stuff like this happens, and you think I get to talk about it again. So yeah, I didn't think I'd be doing anything like this.
But what's it like to meet all of the fans?
Amazing, yeah. I mean, they're all such different ages as well. Like, children that are introduced to it by the TV series that are on now, and people that have got into the original saga and then enjoying the new films as well. It's universal, isn't it?
Thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you
for talking to us.
Thank you.
Cheers. I'm here with the excellent Richard Stride. Richard, could you please tell everyone who you are in the Star Wars universe in case they don't know?
Well, so I was quite a few different characters. So I was on episode 2 and episode 3, and I played Poggle the Lesser. I was also most of the Empire, so I was quite a few clone troopers. They doubled me up everywhere, basically. And I stood in for loads of different characters all the time. And I was also a female droid.
Oh, really?
Yes. Apparently I was a secretary. Yeah.
And how did that work?
A lot of it's motion capture, so I didn't have any idea, but it was like C-3PO with a tiny bit of a wiggle, basically. But yeah, it was great fun.
Was a lot of it motion capture, or were you in any kind of costumes?
Yeah, no, a lot of it was motion capture. I also doubled for Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, and that was in costume. So yeah, but the motion capture stuff, and it's quite easy because you're not having to get the actor in and out of costume every 5 minutes. Yes. So they literally could just say, right, I want you to play this role, what could you do with it, etc., blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it was great fun.
And how did you get into doing sort of the motion capture stuff that then led you to Star Wars?
So I actually went along for an audition for doubling for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so that was basically what I was on the call sheets, etc., as titled as. And then it just every day it was like, could you possibly would you mind if you just... I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm only sat here, so yeah, that's great, yeah.
Wonderful. And what's it like meeting all the fans at events like this? that sort
It's lovely. Yeah, no, it's really good because you get to reminisce and talk about stuff, and also you get to meet people who are on the other films or sometimes in films that you were in as well. And I remember one day I met this guy and I said, "Oh, what did you do?" And he said, "Oh, I was in Revenge of the Sith." I said, "Oh, what did you play?" And he was one of the trade ambassadors. I was like, "Oh my God." Of course, he was in a full costume, and we'd worked together, and we didn't even realise it. Yeah, so no, it's really nice. It's really nice.
You also direct a lot as well, don't you? Did that then...
Yes, so I direct films and TV, and I also do some producing. And recently, I've got into writing as well, which was another accident. Basically, I wrote a film, sent it to a friend, who then sent it to a big producer in Pinewood, and it's now been made into a movie. So I can practically do my own movie now.
Well, this is it. Star Wars 2029. Written, directed, starring Richard Stride.
Yes, yeah. I'll even make the props, and the tea. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Richard.
Pleasure.
Very nice to meet you.
And
Thank you.
Yes, love to meet you too.
I'm here with the fabulous Aidan Cook. Aidan, if you could possibly summarise your Star Wars experience for those who may not know which characters you've played.
Well, I'm best known probably for Benthic Two Tubes, who has sort of become a legacy character because he appeared in Rogue One and then was in Solo. But the first character I did was Boba Joe, which was kind of like this really wacky one, which also nearly killed me. And all the way through to the last movie and the Andor series. It's been an amazing journey. I have a whole menagerie of creatures to my name, and it's just been an enormous privilege to be involved with it, really.
Did you think that you'd end up doing sort of events like this as well?
As a jobbing actor, which is all I am, I'm a jobbing actor that's done a lot of kind of physical roles. To be involved in something which will run on for a long time it gives you a sense of security, which as an actor you don't have most of the time. So all these other extras, like these kind of conventions and that, those are really good. But the thing I always sort of try and remind myself with these is that if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be in the job that we're in, because they wouldn't bother making the product if it wasn't for the fans. I really like the opportunity to talk to people who seem to be interested in what I do, so and as I say, it is a privilege to do what I do. So
and you've not just been part of the Star Wars franchise.
I used to do a lot of children's TV stuff. Then that took me into a BBC production called Fimbles, which was live action. So I was the voice of Fimbo. And then while I was there, they also said, "Well, do you think you could puppeteer the head as well?" So my friend Tobias was in the suit, but I was doing all the animating the head for it while performing to my own voice. I then was offered an audition for Hellboy 2, which I got, and that was an absolute sort of baptism of fire at the same time as working with Guillermo del Toro was unbelievable, I've done lots of primate stuff. I do gorillas and orangutans, a bit too big for a chimp. But I do, a whole range of... I've played the rear end of an elephant. So
not many people can say that, so...
The life of an actor is you never know what's around the corner. My life can look like a blank canvas one day, and then I can be up to my eyeballs the next day.
Yes.
And I'm 70 now, so it's kind of like I mustn't grumble. I've been very lucky. Yeah.
Aidan, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you ever so much for joining
pleasure.
us at GeekVault today. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Cheers.
Good luck to you all.
Thank you. I've had an amazing time here at the special Star Wars Day organised by GeekVault UK at the Royal Shopping Centre. Thank you so much to Alex, all of the amazing guest signers, and of course Synergy Cosplay as well. Thank you very much, and back to the studio.